Welcome back to swga Sickle Cell Awareness with Patient Advocate Monica. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the tribe. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about acute chest syndrome prevention and treatment. Let's get into the video. Before I get into the prevention and the treatment of acute chest syndrome, I want to talk about the severity of it. Acute chest syndrome is one of the major complications of sickle cell disease, and it can be life-threatening if it's not caught in time and if it's not treated in time. So if a sickle cell patient is experiencing coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, they need to definitely go to the emergency department ASAP. They don't need to give it a second thought. They don't need to try to figure it out themselves. They don't need to try to treat themselves at home. They definitely need to go to the emergency department and make sure they let the ED department know that they do have sickle cell disease. They're experiencing wheezing, they're experiencing shortness of breath, and they're experiencing coughing. That is so important. That need to be the first thing you let the ER know or the ED know that is going on with you, so they can take you back as soon as possible. And one of the things that you need to know is when you are experiencing that and you go to the ER, your sickle cell specialist is going to partner with a pulmonologist or critical care doctor. Those two titles go hand in hand. So now they say if you're dealing with pulmonology, you're dealing with a critical care physician. That's all in one. The team is the same. So it is very important that you go to the ER and your sickle cell specialist work with you as well as with a pulmonologist and a critical care team to make sure they treat and prevent your ACS. Now let's get into the prevention. I've done a lot of research on the complications of sickle cell disease, constantly researching what's new, what's going on in the medical community, what's going on with the complications of sickle cell, and what are the medical communities doing about it. And through a lot of research and a lot of reading, one of the things that I did find out, and which was common in a lot of medical journals that I have read, is that the number one, currently, let me emphasize that currently the number one medication on the market for sickle cell disease as well as the complications of sickle cell is hydrorrhea, which is this medicine right here. This is a medication that I'm on myself. This medicine was approved by the FDA in 1995, so it's been on the market a long time. It's still the number one medication to prevent the complications of sickle cell disease, as well as the number one reason why I take it is because it specializes and help patients that have sickle cell betathalassaemia manage their crisis. So that's why my sickle cell specialist prescribed that medication for me. I know that a lot of people don't like this particular medication. They don't take this particular medication. My recommendation for your prevention plan, talk to your sickle cell specialist about what can you do to prevent sickle cell crisis or prevent getting acute chest syndrome or any complication of sickle cell disease. Get with your sickle cell medical team and y'all come up with a plan to prevent the complications of sickle cell disease, and that will be a great thing. I take 1,600 milligrams of that medication at night, even though it's prescribed for in the morning. I take it at night because it makes me sleepy, and I have to take promethazine 30 minutes before I take it, so I get a good night rest. Once I take my promethazine and take my hydroxyia, I am good to go. So that is what I have been taking to prevent my complications of sickle cell disease. Now let's get into the treatment options that are available. Now that I've told you ACS is life-threatening, let me give you some hope. There are 5 treatment options available to treat ACS. The first option, of course, is oxygen. That is one of your treatment options as you build your lungs back up and you build your system back up. So the second option is respiratory therapy. I remember when I was going through respiratory therapy, I had the thing that you blow in. You blow in until you can build your lungs back up. I can't think of what it's called. I think it's called a respirator, spermeter. I can't right now. I can't remember what the words, but you know what I'm talking about. Then you blow in until you able to build your lungs back up, until you're able to get your lungs back to where they need to be. The third treatment option that is available, of course, is blood transfusion, which sickle cell patients are very familiar with. The third treatment option for ACS is blood transfusions, which of course you have to go to the hospital or go to a medical facility to get blood transfusions. The fourth treatment option is being on an antibiotic or something to treat for your infection, because having ACS is like having an infection. So I remember they had prescribed vancomycin for me. I was on a strong antibiotic when I was dealing with ACS. So they'll put you on antibiotic until it clears it up, until it clears the ACS up. And the fifth thing that you can use is something to help open up your lungs during, after, and when you're dealing with ACS. And one of the things that I have been taking to open up my lungs, make sure my personal information is not on here. This is a medicine. It's the generic to singular. So to this day, I still take this to make sure my lungs are open up. When I get up in the morning, I take this 30 minutes before I do anything and just sit and relax and rest until 30 minutes later. And that's when I start moving and start doing different things, because it does open up my lungs. It makes it better for me when I take it 30 minutes in the morning before I do anything, but it does help with the lungs. So those are the 5 treatment options that are available to you if you have ACS: oxygen, respiratory therapy, blood transfusion, a medication for infection, as well as a medication to open up your lungs. This concludes this video. So if you've learned anything from this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you have any questions, comments, or queries about sickle cell disease, make sure you leave all of that in the comment section below. Until next time, stay hydrated and stay well. Goodbye.